What's up, Hugh? How you doing? Yo, yo, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, my bad, bro. I'm in an Airbnb, so I'm gonna apologize off top if my Wi-Fi is choppy.
Oh no, it's all good.
Nice to meet you, bro. Man, let me tell you, bro. When when they told me Hugh Augustine, that name kept bubbling in my head, and I was like, where do I know that name from? And then it
Yeah,
popped in my head. You were the dude on Isaiah Rashad's song that had the hottest verse between him and J Rock. Man, that Tity and Dolla is one of my favorite songs of that year. I want to say that was like 3 years back. That was
yeah.
one of the hottest records of that year, man.
Thank you, man. It was such a blessing and a coincidence just how that whole song came together. And it's really funny actually. We recorded that song like a week before the album was set to drop.
Get out of here. Like before the drop
Yeah,
date?
yeah, before the drop date, like it was already turned in and everything.
Wow, wow. So let me ask you then, what was that the last song on the album?
That was the last song to get added to the album. Yeah.
Wow. And look, I'm not capping. I'm not like this is from the heart. That's my favorite song on the project. Arguably one of
Thank.
my favorite Isaiah songs. And so,
Uh,
man, I'm talking to a man, I'm excited, bro. You got Lamar Park in the house. We got Baldwin
that's
Hills,
right.
Lamar Park in the house, right?
That's right.
Let's talk
Born
about
and
your
raised.
yeah, you're an LA cat, and that's why I was really excited to speak to you because I think you embody LA to a T. Like, I'm sure you're a Lakers fan. I'm sure you've been to every Roscoe's in the city. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
know the city like the back of
yeah.
your hand.
Like I don't use GPS out here.
That's my shit, but I tell people all the time I don't use Google Maps. I can go from San Diego to basically Westwood, no maps, right? And I'm
Yeah,
sure you got that same thing on lock.
yeah. You already know
Yeah,
how we get down, man.
yeah.
I've been riding these streets my whole life. So once I got to the age of being able to drive, I actually was like, oh, I know where I'm at. Like being able to map the landmarks to the streets, and now I feel like I have that whole map in my brain now.
Yeah, yeah. You remember what street was that before it turned into Obama Boulevard?
Uh,
But like you remember that street before the name change.
La Brea and Rodeo. Yep.
There we go. There we go. Man, I got so much to get into with you because you have a lot going on as far as the music, your catalog, your journey as an artist, and then this, Hugh's Hot Bowls, which I can't wait to try. I'm not vegan, dog, but it looks so good. I'm down to try it.
It's
Like,
funny. Most of my customers aren't vegan.
what?
Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Like maybe 80% of them are not vegan.
And are they just
So
coming to eat for the health factor, or it tastes that good?
I think that the way that I've been presenting my food is in a very like recognizable form. Like the different recipes that I choose, it's all food that we're used to eating and that we grew up on. You know what I'm saying? I'm making
Mm-hmm.
enchiladas. I'm making cauliflower sandwiches and stuff like that. To be able to get people used to the idea of vegan food not just being like raw nuts and leaves and twigs, you know what I mean?
Chickpeas and stuff like that.
Yeah, like when you tell somebody that you're vegan or whatever, they think that you just eat carrots and cabbage all day. And it's like I do eat a lot of that, but it's really to kind of help people transform the way that they think about what they're eating and what we consider to be food or nutrition.
Interesting, yeah, because that's a really important thing. And I saw you were tweeting about how you went to a doctor after you went vegan, and how like vitals and everything was good, like through the roof.
Yeah, like actually being able to see my lifestyle choice directly affect my health when it comes to like blood work and numbers. It's one thing to say, I feel good, I got energy, but for them to actually be able to show it with science,
Hmm.
that is something that like motivates me to keep going with my journey and like keep spreading this information to as many people.
Well, it's so interesting to me because I'm from LA. Like I was raised in Orange County, but I was born in LA, right? And I ran with some people that are in Inglewood, Long Beach. You don't see vegan restaurants around Leimert Park, Baldwin Hills, that Inglewood pocket. You don't just drive around and see a bunch of like, sweet leaves, all those restaurants that you're gonna see in like West Hollywood. So what motivated you to say like I want to bring that health culture and environment to my area?
Well, just growing up over there and just not being able to get anything to eat after a certain time, and the only options after 8 or 9 o'clock is like fast food. We got on.
Hmm.
So where I live now is very close to that intersection of La Brea and Obama,
Oh, dope. I'm up the
and so
street. Hell yeah.
yeah, yeah. So if you just go a half a mile radius from there, right? We got two McDonald's. We got
Hmm.
Jack in the Box. We got Popeyes. We got Subway. We got Del Taco. We got Carl's
That little
Jr.
Chick-fil-A that's always
We,
packed.
yeah, we got Chick-fil-A. We got Louisiana Chicken. You know what I'm saying? All these places, but you can't get a salad. There's
Yeah,
no place where you can just go and get a salad. You know what I mean? So when I started realizing and recognizing the inequities in the community with the food, and then the opportunity that COVID allowed me with like more free time and ability to explore some of my other talents, it just made sense that I'm already vegan. I have a history in growing up working in food service. So it was kind of like a no-brainer. Like this is what the community wants. Um, and it's proven by how many people continually are showing up week after week. I have regular customers now, and like I said, the majority of the people that I serve are not vegan, but they
that's
see
crazy.
the benefit, you know, they see the importance of it, and I feel like everybody right now is in like more conscious state where we're understanding more that health is wealth. We are all we got, and it's
Hmm.
like if we can't keep depending on like the healthcare system to take care of us, and that's another thing too, is like being preventative about our healthcare instead of reactive, because in America everything in our healthcare is reactive. If you get
Yeah,
hurt,
let's wait until you get cancer or get hurt or get this.
right, like right, exactly, so it's like just trying to prepare myself the best for getting older as well. It's a big part of this, just
Yeah, and
wanting
that, well, that's
to.
why we really wanted to tap in with you. Dash, rest in peace, has a lot of ties with Nipsey. Our founder, DJ Ski, was, Nipsey's man for a while. They did a lot of
Yeah.
mixtapes together. And,
Hey.
this whole concept of this segment, which we're gonna do every week, is hustle and motivate. Obviously, that one of the hottest Nipsey songs off his last project. And I know you had some relationship. I believe you used to work with Nipsey's his mom or his aunt.
No, I never worked with anybody. I met Nipsey a few times. I was in the studio with him before, and I just saw him like come up around the neighborhood, just always being around Slauson and Crenshaw.
Hmm.
I grew up all around there, and just seeing the way that he like moved and the way that um, his metamorphosis, you know what I'm saying, as a human being, and then coming to realize that veganism was a big tenet in that growth and transformation.
Yes, yes.
And I feel like with a lot of my like heroes, that's always a big part of who they are, is like their diet, and their regimen, their routine, you know. That's something that I always recognize about people that are successful, is like, what are they doing at this just like basic human level as a part of their routine that allows them to go out here and be creative and be in the spotlight all day and have the energy to do that,
Yeah, yeah. And that's one of the things that Nipsey was working on, rest in peace, our guy, on his way out. He was working on that whole holistic documentary and trying to educate people on the proper way to fuel your body. And I think that's such an amazing thing that you're from LA as well, and you're continuing this legacy of educating people and helping them eat the right way and prepare their body rather than, throw a bunch of McDonald's in there.
Totally, totally. It's just
And
funny that the main thing that we need to survive, which is like our food, is the last thing that we're really thinking about in terms of like what we're putting in our body.
hmm
It's always like it's always an afterthought, or it's always like I'm gonna grab this thing real quick and then I'm gonna get to what I have to do, when you can't even get to that thing that you have to do if you're poisoning yourself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so
Yeah.
I think you're just from hearing about Hugh's hot bowls and like the verse I knew, like bro, I know your verse almost verbatim from Tity and Dolla. Like,
Yeah.
man, you had a
It's
bar.
funny.
You
I
said,
was I
"Don't."
was with Isaiah yesterday. I have this TDE sticker, man.
Hey, TDE, bro. TDE is a label, man. Let me ask you, bro. You got some insider or what? Like, what's going on with TDE? They've been kind of quiet over the last year or two.
I'm not really in a position to speak about anything TDE
Okay,
related,
I respect it.
but I see my friends working all the time. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So I feel like whenever they're ready to drop something, they're gonna do it in a big way, and everybody is gonna pay attention.
got it. Okay, okay. Let's talk about yourself though, and your music, because your music is not something to be toyed with, bro. You got range. For an artist, especially a hip hop artist. You got records like Never Coming Down. I want to say it's with Terry Bryan. You got records, obviously, Nights on
Yeah,
Replay, out of here, over 500,000 streams, with Sid, and then you got like recently, Sugar Jones, I believe is her name,
yeah,
dropped a
yeah.
record with
Sugar
you on it.
Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but then you got your own records like Extra, right, from Dubious. You cover every pocket of hip hop,
totally. That's always
which
been a goal of
which I think is
mine.
crazy. Hmm
I grew up listening to a lot of different types of music. And I always felt like I wanted to like emulate those people that I grew up loving and idolizing, until I found my sound. And now I'm realizing that like my sound is eclectic, and that, it's just fun to me to try these different like styles and play with beats and flows and subject matter. And like I don't have to be so tied to like one thing, because I feel like who I am as a person and my life experience is that same way too. Like I know a lot of different people from a lot of different circles. I travel a lot, so I'm always like experiencing new cultures. And I feel like that all reflects in the style of my music and the type of beats that I choose and the stuff that I rap about.
Yeah, no, it's definitely reflective. Like I could tell by just speaking to you and reading up on your journey that you're a very eclectic dude. Like I can imagine you were the one cat in Lamar Park that was a little bit different. You know what I mean? That might have watched all the Star Wars versus everybody else. Um,
Well, I feel like, okay, when it comes to that, right? When you think about Lemert, like we have super backpack rappers, and then we got like super hood shit going on. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of like in the
and you're
middle
like
of that.
right in the middle.
You know?
Yeah, I see it.
So it's like even with the like weird dudes, like I don't really fit in. You know what I'm saying? And then and all the different. Oh, did I cut off?
Sorry, no, I did. I think it's me, bro. Listen, I made the biggest mistake today of doing this in an Airbnb. So my bad, bro.
Oh
It might have
yeah,
been me,
nah,
it might
yeah.
have been you. I'm gonna take the heat for it though. But I had a question for you. You used to go by Hugh Augustine, the MC. What made you drop the MC and just go by Hugh Augustine?
I feel like when I was putting the MC on my name, that was like to make the statement that that's who I am. And over the years, I feel like I just proved that, so I don't need that on the
Mm.
back of my. I don't need that on the back of my name anymore. Like everybody knows that's who I am now.
And is that your
And
real name? That's like first name,
yeah,
last name?
that's my name.
That's dope. You're on that Kendrick Lamar vibe where it's like, this is me. Like, I'm not creating no character. There's no persona. This is Hugh.
Straight up. And that's why I always wanted to use my real name. And I honestly, I never could think of like a cool rap name.
Hot Bowls, bro. Just go by Hot
You
Bowls.
feel me? Yeah,
No, but
I could never come up with like a cool rap name. And I was just like, my name's kind of different. Like, I'm just use it.
yeah, no, it fits. It definitely fits because I could see Hugh Augustine also being like a persona, but it's you, which is super
Right,
dope.
right.
Now
It's
you
all
came
about the
up.
SEO optimization.
Yeah, you're a smart cat, bro. I already know you're smart.
Like that.
Um, so I want to go back to about, I want to say it was like maybe 7, 8 years ago when the renaissance of LA rap happened. When, shout out Dom, hometown hero, Dom Kennedy, him, Nip, you had J Rock already bubbling. There was a lot of people back then, but you had
Blue
an
and
interesting,
Exile, you had Pac Div, you had Jay Davy,
you
you
know what I
had Wiz
mean?
Devon, you had so many people. Scheme. Casey Veggies came out of that
Bro,
era.
Scheme was
Tyler,
so dope.
Odd Future, and Tyler the
Hmm.
Creator came out of that whole era.
Hmm.
And I was around for all that.
Yeah, and you had an interesting thing you said with another one of your interviews. You said you feel like if you were born 5, 10 years earlier, you might have been a gang banger. Just that, like the time you were born, you were able to be at the perfect age in that music renaissance. So what did that moment do for your life?
Well, it's funny because like the year that Tyler and them signed their deal was like we're all the same age. We all are in the same grade, right?
Hmm.
So like I went away to college. Everybody that stayed in LA, they like, was really like making shit happen out here. So it was kind of like I had an inside look from the outside as well, because it's like I know all these people just from being around and from partying and from being on Fairfax and just being in the mix. But I also took myself right out of it when I went away to school. So when I came back from college, it was like I was studying all these people the whole time
Mm.
and watching people's moves and like how did they get their deal or like what type of music are these people making? Like what is the content about? What's the story about? Like and then also seeing like who's falling off and who's still able to keep going, because like a lot of people broke up, a lot of people
Yeah.
a lot of people started following the A&Rs and like making the music that the label wanted. You know what I'm saying? So um, I've always had that like perspective. Like all these people know me. If you came out of LA in the last 10 years, like Hugh Augustine. Like you've done a show with me. We've had a session before. We've just kicked it on the block. You know what I mean? So I've had that like ear to the streets, but also in my own world as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
always that's kind of always been my relationship to like the LA music scene.
Well, I think that's super dope because the LA music scene's gone through so much of a transition, and it was almost like we had that like huge spike, and then it kind of dipped, and then recently we're back, bro. Like Roddy Rich, Blast, yourself, you guys are crushing it. It's almost like we're getting back to where we were at the time.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Uh,
And I just feel ready. Like I feel like all of these people that are coming up right now have been just grinding so hard, grinding so hard, grinding so hard, and working with all of those people that we named,
hmm.
but just weren't in the forefront. And now it's kind of time where the shine is starting to move around a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you, man, one of my favorite things about your music, it's very comedic, at least on Dubious. You had a lot of, I felt like I was like watching like a show almost.
Yeah.
It was almost like an episode of like Curb Your Enthusiasm, like in between some
Oh
of
my
the
God,
records.
man, that's funny as hell. So that's one of my favorite shows.
Really? Oh, bro, I love
I've,
Curb.
I've
Larry
seen
David is the
every
man.
I've seen every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. But yeah, I feel like okay, so with my project Dubious, right? That whole project is about trying to do something makeshift. And like that this thing that you built, it might just like crash and burn because you made this shit with all spare parts, right?
Hmm.
And it's like as soon as you get it on the road, you don't really know where the fuck or how the fuck it's gonna get down the street. But you're just going, you
Yeah,
know?
just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, you're just like and it hasn't blown up yet. It hasn't blown up in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
face. So that's kind of the whole concept behind Dubious is like if you notice the cover art, we took a photo and then we collaged it. We ripped up the paper and put it back together. And that was kind of like a visual representation of the message in the music is like sometimes it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the budget that you want. It's not going to be the producers that you might be reaching for. You might not have got that feature that you were hoping for, but it's not even about none of that. It's about working with what you got and making the best of your situation and still coming out with a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, yeah. And you've done such a good job of that, man. Like through the years, I want to say first record years I've seen on Spotify was like 2011.
Hmm.
And now you're like 9, 10 years in the game, man, and it's like your seeds are just spreading. Because when you listen to Nights on Replay, that record doesn't sound like 2018. That record actually sounds like 2021.
Right.
I've seen like I can hear the growth in the music, and I gotta ask, what's next? What's coming up next? What do we got from Hugh?
It's on my phone right now.
The
Yeah, my
album? You
album.
got an album?
Yeah, yeah, I got an album.
Oh,
It's on
what are
my
we?
phone right now.
We talking about soon? Maybe next year? Something that's gonna come out,
Uh,
you know, by the end of fall?
I, I want to get it out by the end of fall. I'm working on the visuals right now for it. Um, so I'm gonna just break it down since we on here.
Let's get it.
So my new album is called 100 Years Later.
Okay.
Um, so basically, my family moved to LA in 1920. So this year marks 100 years of my family being in Los Angeles.
Wow.
I'm a fourth generation Angelino. And so this music is a chronicle of my perspective of like what it feels like to be somebody in that position with gentrification going on, with police brutality going on, with the economy the way it is, and still trying to just navigate life and be happy as a musician, as a young man, um, and like the trials and tribulations that I go through with all of that, like legacy and pressure and angst in the background. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
bro.
saying?
100 years of LA. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so I talk to my friends about this all the time. Like it's crazy that we've been here for 100 years, and some families even longer than that, and we're still dealing with the same shit. You feel me?
Yeah,
Like
right?
2
Man.
weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I flew to DC for the March on Washington, and it was a beautiful moment, but it's also so surreal that we're still marching for this shit, bro. Like we're still in the streets marching for human rights. Like in
Hmm.
2020. I can get on this phone with you and like we can do this whole interview in the middle of a pandemic because of the way our technology is so advanced, but our
Right.
humanity is
Our
so
mindset hasn't
downgraded.
advanced.
You
Yeah, it's
know what
gone
I'm saying?
backwards, if anything, bro.
It's downgraded. It's definitely going backwards, you know? So,
Because we got the
especially
technology
speaking
and
on
the resources to know better now.
right. But it's like we're lacking so much empathy as a culture that like people can't even wear a mask.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
like,
It's so simple. It's like, people are out here dying from this disease. We don't have control over it. Like, just wear a mask so we can all be safe together. And it's like, so if we can't like get that message across to people, how can we get this message that like we're all the same
yeah,
across to people? You know? It's like it just shows where we are as like the human community. Like
yeah.
we don't care about each other,
Divided, bro. Just absolutely
you
ripped
know?
apart.
And then we have all of this like media and propaganda to like reinforce bigotry and hatred and division. Like if you whatever your beliefs are, you can turn something on and it's just gonna reinforce that.
Hmm.
So
Pull you farther to that, extreme.
so it's like we just got a bunch of extremists out
Hmm.
here who are ignorant, who never actually experienced being around people who are different from them. So they don't have any truth behind their belief system, but there's so much propaganda that's telling them that it's real. And then we have
Hmm.
imagery, and then this is kind of like my big issue with like the entertainment industry is that we have so much media to reinforce prejudice, and that's what sells,
Yeah.
you know so it's like we have to figure out a way to get in, you know with the food, with the music, with the photography, with the writing, with the lawmaking, with the engineering, to where we can put that positivity back into the world, you know
Hmm. Yeah,
so
and
I
you've spoke about it with a lot of your tweets. You were talking. I know when I went to your Twitter, every tweet before May 30th was gone. So I was wondering, A, did you just erase all your tweets, or is that when you started tweeting?
I'm in Twitter jail right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I really don't know, man. Like,
Okay.
I'm in
Well,
Twitter jail because I called out Tory Lanez for shooting Meg Thee Stallion, and
but I loved what you said
they
though.
locked me
I
out
s-
of Twitter.
Damn, but like you were showing her support. You said if you need support, you want to speak to someone because you said you got shot at 20.
Yeah.
What? So if you could have spoke to Megan, what would you have said? Like if I was Megan and I called you and said, "Yo, I need some help. I got," what would you have said?
Well, the first thing I would tell her that it's not her fault. Um, I think that's big with anybody who's a victim,
Yeah,
is that they start to place blame on themselves and like,
yeah.
why did
Why
this
was I
happen?
there? Why was
Did
I
I
around these
deserve
people?
did I deserve this? Like, why was I around these people? And it's like, yo, none of that is your fault. Like, you're a beautiful person. You've only been living your life in positivity and love and prosperity. Like, this is not your fault.
Hmm.
Um, I would tell her that, on behalf of men and especially black men, like, that we love and appreciate her, and that like there should have been somebody there to protect her in this situation.
That's
um
beautifully said, man. Because she's young. Megan's young, man. I think she's what, 20, 25 maybe?
yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, like she's early to mid 20s, so I think it's really important that she doesn't let this, you know, traumatically impact her career. Hopefully, this catapults her, and she's already, you know, up there. But definitely prayers out to Meg. That's the family. 300 ENT shout out.
And I would
Um,
just tell her, to take her time,
mm,
like be patient with herself and like yeah, like her health is most important right now. Her mental health is not about everybody else. Like
yeah, just worry about you. Don't worry about what other people are saying, what songs you had
yeah,
coming out. If you had a project, just
yeah,
focus
like
on here right now.
if you need that time, like take it.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you
We'll
now
all be
before we
here. We'll all be here for you, Meg. Like whenever.
exactly, bro. We're not going anywhere, Meg.
Yeah.
Hottest, honestly, best female rapper out in my opinion. I love Meg. I want to ask you
And
though,
fuck the
Hugh.
female. Fuck the female rapper part. She's just one of the dopest rappers.
But I want to slap myself for saying that. You right, dog. Facts. I want to
You know.
ask you about Hugh's Hot Bowls though, because you started this um, for the like not for, but you started this as a result of the pandemic, and you're doing
Yeah.
really well. You know, you're selling a lot of food, and you're selling good food. You're helping people get their diet fixed. But when the pandemic ends and the world gets back to normal, are you going to keep Hugh's Hot Bowls going, or are you going to drop that and just go back straight to music?
I feel like this has just made the opportunity so much better to integrate the two things.
Mm,
And I feel like as time progresses and we figure out a post COVID world, that the idea of like live shows and the way that that's formatted is going to be a little bit different. And I don't see why Hughes Hot Bowls can't be something that goes hand in hand with my live experience.
every single show, bro, you're going to get a mixtape and a hot bowl. You know what I mean? I love it,
Right.
man. I love it.
You
What
gotta
advice
eat,
do you
right?
got? Right? And it's such a perfect example of like even if for example like obviously music is your lane, this is what you want, this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Um, you know, you found a different avenue like that. Like to me, you're just a winner. And you tweeted it once. You said, "I lost so many times, it made me a great winner." So, what advice do you got to young kids coming up from your area, from LA in general, that feel like they're, you know, they're losing, like they're just catching L's left and right? What advice do you got to that young entrepreneur?
Don't stop. You know,
Preach.
um, that's the main thing. All of my biggest, greatest successes have come randomly. They weren't planned, and they were when I was like in my worst place. Like
Damn.
when I felt like I was down and out, like I didn't have nothing going on for me. Like the world's ending, COVID's happening, my tour's canceled. What the fuck am I gonna do? You know?
And look at what happened. Hughes Hot Bowls, baby.
Yeah, so I feel like don't stop. Like whatever you like if you're really willing to sacrifice for your dreams and your goals, like you can do anything. And
Absolutely.
when I say sacrifice, I mean like, are you willing to put in the hours to become a master at what you do so that when the opportunity calls, you're ready? You feel me? And
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely.
every time opportunity has called, I've been ready to go. So that's really what
Man,
it's.
and you're poised to have a big rest of your year. I think Hughes Hot Bowls is gonna. I think it's still in its beginning stages. It's only gonna grow and grow as your
Yeah,
area needs that healthy option. And then you said the album's called 100 Years Later or 100 Years Here.
100 years later.
100 Years Later, coming out soon, man. I can't wait to hear the project, bro. Just going off Dubious, and it's been two whole years, bro. We've been waiting, man. Give us some work. We can't wait to hear it.
I know, man, but I gotta live to be able to work. You feel me?
Of
Like
course, of course.
the music is self-titled. Like I go by my name because you really get in my game. So
Mm.
yeah, I have to go out here and play around to be able to write these albums.
Absolutely. You got to go experience something to give us your experiences.
Totally. You can listen to my shit like all the way through from my first album to where I'm at now. And it's just like a chronological order of where the fuck I'm at, what I'm thinking about, what I'm going through, you know? You can really grow with me.
That's dope, man. We cannot wait for the album to come out. Man, I cannot wait to get my hand on one of these vegan meals. I saw you tweeting about mashed potatoes, green beans. So I'm gonna come through. I live up the street, bro. I'm gonna find you. You heard it here first. I'm gonna
Out,
come
man.
through.
Hey,
Hey, official business card official. Shout out to Vistaprint. No, I'm playing. That's lit though, man. Congrats on that.
yes, sir.
Bro, congrats on everything, man. We're definitely gonna tap in. I appreciate you giving us, insight on what got Hugh's Hot Bowls going, what you got coming next. Everyone heard it here first. The album's coming soon. We cannot wait. Our man's about to heat the winter up when you drop that.
You already know. Let's get it
Man,
going, baby.
Hugh, I'm gonna tap in. You're gonna see me. Remember this face. I'm gonna come for some vegan. I've never had vegan food like that in my life either, and I'm coming.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to hook you up.
All
I'm going
right,
to hook
hey,
you
but I'm a very honest cat. If it's trash, I'm gonna let you know, like on site.
up.
Is
All
that
right.
okay?
Yep.
Nah, no way, bro. You sold hundreds of bowls, man. I'm so
Thousands. Thousands of bowls.
thousands, thousands, man. I'm honored just to get to speak to you and speak to somebody who's so LA. You embody the city, the hustle, the environment so well, and I can't wait to see this. Dash Radio's behind you on everything that you do. So let us know when the album drops. Come through the office when the pandemic's over. We'll shoot some basketball in the back, and man, we cannot wait to hear it.
All right, bro. Appreciate you, man. I'm going to see you soon.
All right, bro. Be good. Thank you, everybody who tapped in. Check out Dash Radio. Download the app right now and go get yourself a Hugh Hot Bowl. Stop eating that BS McDonald's and Chick-fil-A. Go get yourself some real food.
That part.
Yeah. All right, Hugh. Be good, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.